Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is day 5 of DIY Dollar Tree Ornament Week. We are going to redo some Dollar Tree ornaments. This is such a quick and easy project. We're going to use just whatever ornaments you like. I have these ones that have the ornament shape. I have this little church. I have this front door. And I like to pick these ones because they seem like they were very readily available this year. This one that says peace, but of course it comes in other words. I love this cross, except I hate its glitter, so we're gonna, I'm not crazy about its glam look, let's put it that way, so we're gonna redo that. And then these two little burlap snowmen are first. Okay. So, my camera was off. I apologize. Here's what I did to these guys. You saw the before picture. Both scarves just ripped right off. What I did was I cut just above the fur. I cut off all of the knit hat. This one I actually pulled and it started to shred right there, so it was easy to get the scissor under. This one I just cut straight across. I made sure I got all of the little pieces off, like you can kind of see a tiny piece there. Then what I did was I took the hat, I laid it on a piece of fleece, and I added about a ½ inch for seam allowance. Then I glued straight down the middle. Oh, look. I didn't realize that happened. I glued straight down the middle, and I can actually show you. We can actually make a hat. Let's do that. Let's make a hat. Okay. A piece of fleece here. Okay. So what I'll show you what I did was, this is scrap garbage anyway. I took the hat and I said, okay, this long, okay. And then I took the hat and I went like, I left room and then I folded it over and then I left room and I said, that's where I'm going to cut. So I cut that much. And then depending on how high you want the hat, so this one's like super tall. I wanted a super floppy, like tall, funny looking hat. But depending how tall you want your hat, then you decide, you know, how tall you want it, and add a little on the bottom to get tucked in the brim. Okay. Then I took, well, that's the good side. So I took right sides together. I just laid a glue down there. I folded it in half. Tried to match the pattern as well as good as possible. I took a jute hanger. I made a jute hanger, again, as long as you want. I made this in the center, in the back. I laid the seam down. I put some glue. I added the jute hanger. Added some more glue. And then I folded this back over. Just let it sit for a second. Then I turned the hat right side out. For the white one, we actually used the little white ribbon that was hanging originally. And for this one, all I did was, if you don't want to do that, I just glued around all the sides, just a little bit on the inside, and I slowly pinched it together to create a cute little palm up there. You just want to hold it for a few seconds. And now for this one, I glued inside the fur. I stuck the front down, just in the front. I stuck the front down when it was cooled. I glued the back, I stuck the back in, and then I did the sides separately, just like we would do if we were reupholstering a chair. And for this one, I slipped this right over the fur, and I pulled it up just so a little bit of fur would show through. I added some glue here, and then around the back, and I left it like that. For this one, we can just make a hat ornament. So what we can do now is we could roll it. That'd be cute. Except it's got hot glue on it, because that's why we didn't use that piece of fleece or something. You know, I like when that happens, because then I can do, oh, look. I can glue this on the wrong sides together. Because once I do that, I glue wrong sides together. Then when I roll up the hat, it's right side out. And this is just really a really cute little hat ornament all by itself. So that's how I did that. And then the scarves, this was one long strip. I fringed by cutting up. And then this one was a shorter strip. I actually, I could show you. When you have just a short piece of fabric that won't go around, what you do is you start to cut the thickness that you want. And then you cut the thickness you want next to it. And then you cut across, or go to the end of the fabric you have. And then you just round off, and it makes like a scarf. So this goes around the neck sideways. As you can see, it went around his neck sideways. And you want to make sure you cover if any red is showing. And here's how they turned out, even the cute little hat. I think that they are so much more modern farmhouse with this particular different plaids. They're my style anyway. For this cross, it's going to be really simple. I have a collection, a small collection that my aunt made of some stiffened crocheted ornaments and some stiffened lace ornaments. And I really just wanted to emulate that by rubbing off or cleaning off a lot of the glitter. I just used sandpaper and baby wipes. And I'll show you here, just stippling on some white chalk paint makes it look more like that crocheted fabric. It's just amazing what a small touch can do to change this. I did it both sides. You want to make sure that you don't get any paint in the holes so that it still has that open lacy effect. And then I just added a jute hanger, and that's it. And I put it on my tree. It's just so pretty. I know it's going to go really well with my other ornaments when I get them out. For the next one, we're going to take this particular ho 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 ornament. We're going to use both, but this one we're going to do is very simple. I just cannot take the glitter. I don't know what it is. I feel like Dollar Tree would save money if they didn't put glitter on everything, because I feel like all of us take a glitter off. All I did was sandpaper off his buckle, changed his hanger to a jute cord, added a little bit of this Dollar Tree ribbon in a bow. This is that snow-flaked buffalo check, and I feel like it went perfectly with this ornament. I just created a little bow, glued it on top, and that one is done. And for the second one, this one's actually going to be even more adorable. Now, you could leave the glitter on his buckle because we're going to put some shiny legs on him, but I just toned it down a little bit. I just sanded off the excess. I feel like it was excess. And now we're just going to take these cute little feet. They come in green boots and red boots, and the green boots just match perfectly because this elf has red trim, so does the green boots. And all I did was remove its hanger, glued along the little seam that basically creates it, and then I wanted him to be a little off-center, so I added the glue, I added him, waited till he dried, and then that was it. And he is so adorable. He looks like a little ornament with feet. I'm sorry. But here's how they look together. Oh, and I gave him a jute hanger as well. So for this next one, this is probably one of the easiest ones we're going to do. This is just to personalize this front door. Now, the reason I was inspired to do this is because I found it in a catalog. This exact door seemed like different paint job, but it was personalized and it cost like 20 bucks. So there you go. Now it's personalized. All I did was put the address and the initial of my favorite person. All right, one of my favorite people. All right. Anyhow, we'll move on to this piece ornament. Now, if you're not aware, these ornaments are actually like really thin, rubbery plastic type of thing. But the berries were glued to the middle of the A, and I wanted to make sure I pulled that out. I used my pliers to get out that rubber glue, because what we're going to do is we're going to highlight paint this. So I've taken some white chalk paint and maybe like almost semi-dry brushed. After I tried to get off most of the glitter, and I like the texture that painting over glitter leaves. I do, but I kind of did it sideways. So there is glitter in the cracks and there's glitter on the sides, but it just highlights the front, and I like that. And then I'm taking to its embellishments, because I felt like the pine just overpowered the ornament. So I pulled the 2 pine sprigs off, and what's left is this baby pine cone with a little bit of black and red check bow. And I just fed that jute hanger through the hole that was existing, and that's it. Now this one is probably the most complicated, but still not that complicated. What it is I pulled off the ornaments, or the ornamentals, and then I sanded the roofs, because I wanted to get most of that glitter off. I wanted to leave some texture because we are going to paint that portion. But this was inspired by something that I saw at Buc-ee's. It was an ornament. They wanted $10 for it, and I'm like, nope, not doing it. And I know that there's probably other easier ways to do it than decoupage, and now I know that because I've actually done it. But I decided to decoupage. This is Dollar Tree's black and white gingham fabric, and what I did was just cut a piece as wide as the tallest part, and I made sure it wrapped around plus. And I started with the middle piece in the front that I thought was the nicest front. I added a bunch of decoupage or Mod Podge to the church, laid down the fabric, took the fabric off, then brushed the fabric where that decoupage was, and then re-put it back on. And I trimmed to fit. Now I will tell you, I made this, and I will tell you that if I was going to make this again, I would probably cut each piece individually and make the sides four different sections. That's what I probably would do in hindsight. When I was done with all of you had to kind of trim so that it would tuck under the roof, and then make sure you don't over trim so it wraps around the back. It was just a little extra, and I feel like, yeah, in hindsight I would have just done it in sections. That's probably the best thing to do. But I also wanted to do the flat part of the steeple, so we're going to add a little bit there, and just repeat the process. And again, I would have done it in sections. The steeple is shorter in the front and back than it is on the sides because the roof is on a pitch. Okay, and then we're going to set that off to dry. And then after it's dry, we're going to take our white Waverly chalk paint, and we're going to hit all the roofs, all of the flat surfaces. The reason I'm doing this is because the texture of the glitter underneath with the texture of the chalk paint really makes it feel like snow more than all that glitter. And that's my personal opinion. The other thing is, if you don't do a great decoupage job, or you don't do a great trimming job, then you can really hide a multitude of sins by putting that paint down there. Okay? So I'm just taking my sharpest utility knife. You really need to wait for this to dry. Mine was only about 75% dry, and it really gave me a headache. But, I'm trying to get this out for you guys, so that's what happens. I know that Kelly Barlow puts hers in her oven. My oven doesn't go as low as hers. I would love if it did. But I really didn't want to put this piece of plastic ornament in a 170-degree oven, because that's as low as mine goes. So I opted to just let it sit in front of the fireplace. But it was dry enough to cut the door out in the front. And I was contemplating, do I want to cut all the windows out or all the doors? And I really didn't. I wanted it to be more of a simple country church. I feel like the way it was before, it almost felt cathedral-esque. It felt very grand to me, as opposed to just a little country church. Now that it's all wrapped in its plaid, it's got to be country. So I decided to just put on one of the pine sprigs back on down the right side of the roof. And then I decided to take a little bit of the paint that was left on the paintbrush just to highlight the door. So I stuck it in the door, and I went back and forth, and it just hit the highlights. Do you see? You can see the door now better.
And then I added a little black and white check bow to the other side, as well as some black and white check ribbon for the hanger, which I probably would have switched out for jute because it's a little bit too much for me. But here it is. It's so cute, even with the worst decoupage job in the world. And that's everything. Hope you guys really enjoyed this video. If you do, give this video a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, leave them in the comments down below. Don't forget to share with friends and family. Anybody who might be interested in remaking any Dollar Tree ornaments, getting some inspiration. And if you haven't yet, click subscribe. And when you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, you take care, God bless, and we'll see you next time. Bye.